What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Who's going to be the Atlanta Falcons' next quarterback? What I was going to say is, obviously, that should be of a lot of interest to New Orleans Saints fans, right? Not only is that your arch rival, but in a world where, once again, you don't know what the Bucs are going to do at quarterback, and it's unclear what the Falcons can do. Like, you seem reasonably well-positioned in the NFC South, even though we played this game all of offseason. What I don't love is the latest rumors are that Kirk Cousins to Atlanta is starting to gain a lot of steam. Diana Rossini from The Athletic was reporting on this, and I think it's actually especially relevant to our show as well, as we've had a lot of, like, Carr, Cousins style debates here, and it's very deeply funny to me if this move comes to pass. The Saints-Falcons rivalry is incredible from a passion standpoint, right? It's got all the hallmarks. Yeah. Fans absolutely hate each other on a college level, if not even deeper. You have geographically it works, right? Both in the Southeast, for a lot of times kind of like the Southeast's representatives in the NFL. It's been played forever. It's a series that isn't it basically exactly 500?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Right. So it's
like
an awesome
the LSU
rivalry.
Florida series, same thing.
Except both teams are usually dog crap. Like, they're usually awful. Like, for their entire history, it's been the best rivalry that no one cared about, because it's normally, for long decades, it's like 2 4-8 teams doing battle, trying to go 5-9. And now, in that storied rivalry, we may get a Derek Carr versus Kirk O'Chains chapter. Let's freaking go, dude. Carr versus Kirk. Two quarterbacks that have always been, like, pretty damn good, but kind of not good at the same time. Schrodinger's quarterbacks, if you will. And now, Jake, your boy, Kirko, with a chance to prove once and for all just how much better the Derek Carr is.
Are you gonna ask me which one I think is going to prevail?
No, I think Cousins is clearly the better quarterback. I think that's fair to say. But Cousins is the NFL Mendoza line, right? Where if you're better than Kirk Cousins, your fan base is probably happy with you. If you're worse than Kirk Cousins, your fan base probably wants you replaced. If you are Kirk Cousins,
I disagree with that, because I do.
Fan base goes both ways.
But if he comes into the division, he's the best quarterback in the division. Like, even if Baker's there, it would go Kirk Cousins, Baker. You better hope Bryce Young doesn't develop Derek Carr.
We were talking about that before the show. I was like, T-Bob, last year the division was supposed to be bad, and we're like, well, we'll give it to the Saints because they got the best quarterback in the division. We're like, now you're 3 at best.
Y'all said that.
Well, I mean, look, dude, you didn't think the Saints, you agreed that the Saints were going to likely win the division.
I thought they'd win the division, but
yeah.
Y'all know my stance on the quarterback position.
But you weren't out here saying that Baker was better than Derek.
Oh, probably not.
No, yeah.
But I thought Bryce Young would be much better.
Well, I don't know what I don't even know if you can accurately judge the Panthers. I think they have a leadership problem that trickles down from the CEO on. Right?
Well, at least Tepper's at least he's patient.
He's cool, calm, and collected in intense moments.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
He's in no way reactive or brash.
He's
or
that coach.
Impulsive.
And T-Bob, you and I, we've played long enough that we've all had this coach, and it could be in multiple sports. Like, they always get in front of the team. You going on the road, hostile environment. Hey, keep your composure. I don't want to see any of y'all. Get outside of yourself. Don't allow the crowd to affect you. And then, like, 5 seconds later, the coach is the one that's affected by the crowd the most. We had a baseball coach in high school. We were going to play Barb, right? And Barb had a great, in left field, I think. Like, if you were the left fielder, which I was, like, you were going to get harassed.
Yeah.
And so, like, he made, like, I remember, because he knew I was a little bit of a hothead. He's like, hey, you can't allow him to affect you. You can't talk trash, blah, blah, blah. I mean, in like in the third inning, I look over, he's coaching third base. He's like basically in the stands yelling at people. I'm like, hold up. You sat me down for 30 minutes and you're like in this, like climbing the fence to get to somebody on the third baseline.
It's like having a fat strength coach. Like, it's like, come on, bro. You're making it real hard for me to buy into your message when you are clearly not holding yourself to the same standard that you're out here trying to hold me to.
I agree.
Anyway, if Baker Mayfield resigns, which I kind of want to talk about next time because that's a big if. Like, would you want to pay Baker $40 million? That's an awkward spot to be. But if Baker resigns and if Kirk goes to Atlanta, is Derek Carr now the third quarterback in the NFC South?
What did we say? This was like right at the end of last season, the regular season. Like I threw out a number and y'all thought it was way too low. I said I think 2 years, like $65 million for Baker would be somewhere, not long term, but you got to give him some money. You got to give him a big chunk.
Yeah.
And I think you said you thought more like 3 for 90. So like maybe less money per year, but a longer.
I mean, if I was a fan, I'm with you. I'd rather do shorter, give him a big chunk.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. I don't want to be long-term committed. It's an awkward spot to be. If you
well,
are a
the
Bucs
song's
fan.
about, his girl having somebody else in the bed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll let Taylor decide.
I mean,
what
the Saints are
scenario is.
the Saints are kind of the only ones that didn't commit a relationship. I guess the Panthers
Oh,
are
the
as well.
Panthers
It's just
are
toxic.
the Panthers are in one.
It's just toxic. But Taylor, what do you think? As the resident Bucs fan of the show, it's an awkward spot to be because it's funny watching the reaction of Bucs fans, right? They love Baker. Last year was awesome. So much fun. NFC South champs. Ha ha. Screw you, Saints. And then it's like, okay, you ready to pay Baker $40 million a year? And they're like, hell no. No. Would you pay him?
I think you have to if you're the Bucs.
See, I think that's bad. I think the idea that you have to do anything is dangerous logic.
So just I get it. The Falcons will be better if they sign Kirk Cousins, but you don't want to blow up what you had. You brought back Evans, and the word was that Baker and Evans wanted to play together. The number I've seen thrown around is $25 to $30 million a year.
That's completely acceptable.
Which would be a lot better.
That'd be great.
But at the same time, it's
that's a discount.
Do you really want to go find? Because you were a couple plays away from possibly upsetting Detroit in the playoffs. You do that, anything could happen. Do you really want to blow that all up? Because NFC South, it's still up for grabs. And you can say, well, you got a new offensive coordinator. How's he going to react to that? When Baker had all that success in L.A., remember they picked him up, he went in there and he played well. Liam Cohen was the offensive coordinator.
That's true.
Who is now the offensive coordinator with the Bucs. So you have a guy that's familiar with your quarterback, that's had success with him. You got your number one receiver back who had good chemistry with your quarterback. I never want to overpay for anybody, but do they have a better option than that right now?
Bro, can Baker ever just get
an offensive coordinator?
I was going to say,
2 years?
can he get the same coach 2 years in a row? Our guy has been just nobody has experienced more turnover in his NFL career and yet done pretty damn good than Baker Mayfield has in that regard.
He had Stefanski for 2 years, but it was a different offensive coordinator each year. He's never had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row.
Wow.
But that's what I'm saying. You get a guy that he's already worked with in a different spot. I don't know if you have a better option.
If it's 25 to 30, hell yeah. If it's 40, you say go test the market. And if somebody wants to pay you 40, Godspeed, and you have to look for options elsewhere.
You look at the quarterback draft, and it's so heavy with so many players that people think can be starting quarterbacks in the NFL. It isn't a year where you're going to have a Kenny Pickett be the only quarterback in the first round. So if you're the Bucs, you have that as leverage.
Yeah, for sure. There's some young options out there that you could go explore. And honestly, though, just because you signed Baker wouldn't preclude you from taking a shot on a young quarterback. It might actually be the ideal time to do it, as he could sit there, kind of learn at his feet for a year or two, and then eventually you have your kind of takeover. Baker's kind of the perfect stopgap sort of guy for a situation like that. But either way, Kirk Cousins maybe to Atlanta. We'll monitor the situation. Derek Carr, is he the third best quarterback in the NFC South if that happens? Probably. But my dumb brain, I'm kind of starting to get excited again, dude. Those last 6 games are pretty solid. Kubiak coming over from San Fran, meeting with AK. Meetings went well, so we'll see. We'll see where it all goes.
You think we would have heard if they would have gone bad?
No. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.